Hey there, Card Lady here. Thanks for stopping in. I want to talk for a second about the Mercury and Jupiter trine that we just went through today, December 6th, 2025. While this is something that happens a few times a year, I want to look at the cards of today and do a little channeling about what it might mean that we experienced this astrological aspect on this day. So the cards of December 6th from year to year, every year, are the Queen of Clubs plus the Ace of Spades equal the King of Hearts. December 6th is a triple royal day. If you know anybody who was born on December 6th, they are a triple royal card, these three cards. This is the Mother of the Mind. This is the most magical card. And of course, the King of Hearts is the Master of Love. And the way that these work is 1 + 2 = 3. When the Mother of the Mind experiences the most magical beginnings possible, which the Ace of Spades represents. It's like an initiation into new beginnings of magic. Then the Master of Love is created. So let's talk about what this might mean that Mercury is trining Jupiter on this day. Mercury is the planet of communication, and Mercury has just been retrograde. It's now going forward again, but it's in Scorpio, this really deep sign, and it's moving soon into Sagittarius. If you know about astrology, Scorpio comes before Sag. Scorpio is the death that happens before Sagittarius can be free to go explore and express what it has learned. But Scorpio needs us to go through the dark night of the soul, through the shadow. So Mercury actually already entered Sag, then it retrograded back through the part of Sag it had already been through back into Scorpio. And now it's going forward again, slowly through Scorpio, and will re-enter Sag. So it's almost like we had undergone these deaths in the way that we communicated. And we were starting to become more freely expressive because of what we had learned. And then everything started moving backward again and kind of took us back through maybe some of the same lessons, maybe some more deaths that need to happen in the way that we communicate. Mercury has to do with our logic and our intellect, the way we speak to others, the way we speak to ourselves. It is really associated with the way that we think and also the alchemy of our mind. The process of our mental to mouth pipeline. So Mercury is now today trining Jupiter. And again, this only happens a few times a year. And Jupiter is the biggest planet of expansion. And a trine is when two planets are a third of the chart away from each other. So we know that an astrological chart is 360 degrees. So 1/3 of that is 120 degrees. So think of like a peace sign, kind of. Something here and something here, or something here and something here, that's a trine. So a trine is actually a really great aspect in astrology. When something's across from each other in opposition or squaring each other, that's really hard. But when something is in a trine or a sextile, it's much more flowy. The planetary bodies tend to be working together in a beneficial way. So Mercury and Jupiter, our communication and our expansion, are right now supposed to be working together in a beautiful way. And since Mercury is in Scorpio, which is associated with the death of old ways of communicating so that we can soon birth new ways of communicating. It's this aspect coming today is essentially saying that there is a lot of growth and abundance and success and luck to be gained from, opportunity to be gained from. Letting go of unnecessary patterns of communication so that we can bring forth new ones. Just me doing this, speaking to the camera in this way, trying to do this download for YouTube off the cuff, it just crossed my mind and I'm gonna do it. This is a new way that I'm communicating. I'm getting rid of my fears about just showing up on YouTube, about just grabbing my cards and doing a little something off the cuff. And that is going to make way for new patterns of communication when I get rid of those old fears surrounding my communication. Scorpio, because it is about death and rebirth, of course it is associated with our fear and wanting our fear to and our shadows to be really looked at so that they can be alchemized, right? I feel like the human experience, that's part of the reason that we have fears, is so that we can alchemize them into love over the course of our life. And so this Mercury trine Jupiter is really helping us to do that. Now, Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer, and Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. And Cancer is this sign of homeliness, of care, of compassion, and it's a water sign of being very like emotionally minded, essentially. So with Jupiter being in Cancer right now, expansion is coming from us leaning more into compassion, leaning more into empathy, leaning more into the wateriness of our emotions, allowing ourselves to be emotionally vulnerable, and Jupiter, again, bringing growth to us when we allow ourselves to be emotionally vulnerable. So look at this. I just got a wave of chills because that is what this is about. Jupiter is in Cancer, wanting us to be more emotionally vulnerable. It says if you're more empathic, more compassionate, if you want to give more love, then I'm going to give you more abundance, more opportunity, more luck, more success. And that right now is making a really good aspect to Mercury in Scorpio, which is saying stop these old ways of communicating and make way for the new. These two things being in relation to each other, it's like stop communicating without compassion, start communicating with more compassion. You will free yourself, you will free others. I love this aspect. I am so happy. And like, if we take away the signs that they're in, if you just think of Mercury trine Jupiter, it's like communication is bringing success. The more that you speak and share and express yourself, the more luck that you will have. So in general, anytime Mercury is trining Jupiter, it is saying, hey, express yourself, let it out, share what is going on within you. Jupiter is gonna help you if you do that. Jupiter being the biggest planet, it wants us to shoot for the stars. So right now it's kind of like shoot for the stars in your communication, but do it in a compassionate way under Cancer, because that is going to help you be more revolutionary in your communication. It's going to help your communication to evolve, I was going to say revolve, which is funny because evolutionary is evolve and revolutionary is not necessarily revolve. But all of that being said, these two things are working together. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, which in astrology, each planet is in its exaltation in one certain sign out of the 12. And at first I never really understood why Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, but I really think the answer is because what does this world need more of but compassion? Cancer is like this suit of the home and being really safe in your home. So of course, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer because it wants to expand the safety of us here on Earth who can, go through trauma and start feeling really unsafe. I don't think there's anybody on Earth who hasn't had some sort of experience of feeling more unsafe as they go through life. That's just kind of a fact of life, right? So Jupiter being exalted in Cancer and making this trine to Mercury is trying to help us revolutionize the way that we communicate for the better. We are sweeping out like the last corners of the dark, dusty, shadowy spots of our communication. Maybe the way we talk to others, maybe the way that we talk to ourselves. Again, maybe the thoughts that are going on in our mind, our anxiety, our depression, our judgment, our tendencies to make decisions out of fear rather than out of love. All of those are being looked at while Mercury is in Scorpio, but with Jupiter in Cancer trining Mercury in Scorpio right now, it's like you have a lot of luck on your side to do this. You are going to be given opportunities and abundance for doing that dirty work. Okay, so let's get into the cards. That was a lot. I think in the future I'll try to not make the astrology part so much, but just in case somebody who doesn't know too much about astrology is watching, that's kind of the idea that we're working with. So why do the stars and does the universe want the collective humanity to receive the wisdom of Mercury and Scorpio trining Jupiter and Cancer on today, December 6th, 2025? Let's look at the cards and try to channel some more information about why this might be happening. I'm a little hot. I don't know if I want to be fully like in my bra on this, but here we go. This isn't too bad. Okay. So, first of all, the mother of the mind is governing this whole experience. They say that this card would be our ruler if we lived in a perfect world. When you look at what's called the heaven chart, it's one of the most important charts of the cards. It is the complement to the earth chart, which is definitely the most important chart of the cards. And the Queen of Clubs on the heaven chart is right in the very middle of the middle. She is the most blessed card in heaven, which is why they say she would be the perfect ruler in an ideal world. Because what needs to be nurtured other than our mind? Honestly, the Queen of Clubs is so Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter wants to expand us. Cancer wants to do so with compassion. The Queen of Clubs, or sorry, I guess I mean to say not just Jupiter and Cancer, but really for this particular aspect of Mercury and Scorpio trining Jupiter and Cancer, the Cancer is kind of like the mother. Honestly, it's has a lot to do with our mother wound. The first safety that we feel, right, is in our mother's womb. And when we exit our mother's womb, there's a lot less safety out in the world. So the queen is kind of like this divine mother, but she's the mother of the mind being Mercury, who wants to be revolutionized right now. So this mother is holding us by this trine happening today. The mother of the mind is saying, hey, I've got you. I'm here. I will hold you. I will support you. I trust you. You have what it takes to revolutionize the way that you communicate, to make more space for yourself, to create more freedom for yourself. You deserve to be able to communicate with yourself and others without judgment, without fear, without this anxiety and this depression riding your ass all the time. Like, get rid of some of that shit. Look at it so you can get rid of it. You have all of the luck on your side to do that. I am holding you. This is so beautiful that she is the main card of this aspect. And I just want to say that the cards, when a certain, like if you were born on December 6th, these are your 3 cards. So this aspect happening on this day, that's why I say this aspect is ruled by these 3 cards, because it chose to come through on this day, whether cosmically, mathematically, whoever made those decisions, God or source, chose to bring it here on this day where our mentality is so supported. That is so, so beautiful. So what's next? Actually, I want to say when the cards are 1, 2, 3, this is the inner child, this is the mission, and this is the highest self. So just to focus on the inner child part of this, basically our inner child who is afraid to let go of our old unnecessary communication patterns, because at once they were necessary, right? That's probably why we developed the patterns that we have in terms of communication, to protect ourselves, because we thought that that was the way that we needed to move through the world. Then we get older and we realize, hey, these communication patterns that used to really help me and keep me safe are maybe doing the opposite now. They're maybe kind of destructive to me now and really holding me back. And so the Queen of Clubs wants to help us do that with more grace, with more trust, with more knowing that we are held, with more faith. And since she's the inner child of this transit, it's like our inner child, who might often feel fight or flight energy, is trying to rest in the arms of the Queen of Clubs and trust that it is held, right? Our inner child, isn't it crazy? I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but as I got older, I would still find myself at some of my worst, lowest times, like crying and being like, I want my mom. It's just like encoded in us to, when we are lost, be like, I want my mommy. And this Queen of Clubs is like, I know that you might feel so scared and lost right now, and like you might never break free of these communication patterns, but I want you to know I'm here for you, I'm holding you, and you will break free of this. I am the most blessed heavenly energy. I am the mother of the mind, and I am assuring you that if you look at your shadows and the ways that you don't want to communicate anymore, that I can help you to do this. She's where Jupiter meets Jupiter on the heaven chart. So she is really associated already with that expansion, that growth, that abundance. And she's letting us know that, again, we will be expanded if we do that work. So now the Ace of Spades is the mission card of, I just leaned back and like my thing fell down right at that time. The Ace of Spades is the mission. And right now we're in Sagittarius season. The sun is in Sag, and Sag is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is this planet of expansion. So the fact that Jupiter is making an aspect while we are in the sign that is ruled by Jupiter, and technically the only sign in current Western astrology that's ruled by Jupiter. We used to say Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, but now we consider it more ruled by Neptune. So we are in the only Jupiter ruled part of the year in some people's opinions. And Jupiter making an aspect right now, while it's in its exaltation, this is like big, big, big Jupiter energy. Jupiter wants to expand you. It wants to help you grow. And so why would this trine with Mercury and Scorpio be happening on this day where the mission is the Ace of Spades? The mission, it's like after our inner child feels safe, we can go on our mission. So the mission is more magic. There's a reason that I have this tattooed here. It is the most magical card of all. Of course the mission is magic. Who doesn't want new beginnings? Who doesn't want more magic in their life? Who doesn't want to wake the fuck up to how much more magic there is so that we stop being sad about bullshit? You know, because one thing about Mercury and Scorpio is like, you can just be sitting there crying in your bed all day, wallowing around in your mind, and forget about all of the beauty and the magic in the world and all of the goals that you have and everything that there is out there to do and see and be. Ace of Spades is like, I don't want to do that. Ace of Spades wants to go on adventures and go have fun. It is where actually Mercury meets Neptune on the most important chart of cards. So it really wants to communicate about its dreams. So this is giving like, let yourself be held by the beauty of the support that's in the air right now so that you can go on your more magical missions. If you're keeping yourself stuck in these Mercury and Scorpio ways, you're not going to be able to go on your most magical missions. Let's go. So yeah, I think the part of the reason that the trine is happening on this day is to help us pursue more of the magic that we know is out there, that we know is inside of us, but we are keeping ourselves from it. You know, we're keeping ourselves from it when we get too stuck and paralyzed in the dark recesses of our mind. It's necessary to look at those and to accept them, work with them, understand them, but it is not necessary to keep letting them rule. And Ace of Spades is like, hey, there's new rules. There's new stuff to do. We got new journeys to take, and those don't really have a place. All right. So finally, when our inner child and our mission come together, the inner child feels safe. So we go on the mission and we start pursuing the mission of bringing in new magic. Then the King of Hearts is the highest self, the highest potentiality of this day, December 6th, but also I just feel like of this transit of Mercury trining Jupiter. And I don't know, maybe another astrologer could chime in and say, you know, how long they think this transit would really be in effect. You know, some people say it's like the day of and like a few days before and a few days after. I am thinking in this moment that it's kind of like until Mercury and Jupiter make a square, because they just made a trine. So sometime in the next few months, they'll probably make a square. So I'm thinking that this is going to be appropriate to think about over the next several weeks. And ultimately, when these two cards come together, the mother of the mind going on missions of magic, it's like, it's all so that we can become better masters of love, so that we can have more love for ourselves and others, so that we can take more responsibility for our emotions, so that we can stop trying to control other people's emotions and rule with compassion, rule with empathy, which is totally Jupiter and Cancer energy. Jupiter being the biggest planet, it's so leadership oriented. And being in Cancer, it's like, I want to give you more energy, more abundance, more opportunity, so that you can rule with more compassion. And so the King of Hearts, being the highest potentiality of Jupiter and Cancer, trining Mercury and Scorpio, is like, please get rid of these outdated ways of thinking and speaking to yourself and others so you can be a better ruler of love. Sorry, my neighbor going by. So, so that you can be a better ruler of love. It's almost like, hey, I'm holding you and I need you to get out of your own way so that you can go on your magical pursuits, so that you can live in and exist in and be served in the kingdom of love that you want to be in. When I talk about this card, I'm working on my app right now, and I just did like a little podcasty download about this card, and it really centered around like, you get to create your own life of love. You get to decide how you want to give love, how you want to receive love, the people to whom and from whom you want to give and receive love. You get to build your life to be your kingdom of what you love. And Jupiter in Cancer, trining Mercury in Scorpio on this day is like, you're never going to be able to build your best kingdom of love if you're still talking to yourself like you're a piece of shit. If you're still wallowing around in how everything is so unfair and, not looking at the things that you're grateful for. It can be so easy to get lost in all the things that are going wrong. But when you really put yourself on like a scale, not to encourage comparison, but to really just be realistic about how lucky you are to be the kind of person who gets to sit on YouTube and watch this, rather than a starving child in a country that has crazy civil war and bombing going on. Nobody in Palestine right now is like watching. I don't want to make these like crazy sweeping generalizations. I'm just trying to say, if you're not like war torn right now, not that the US isn't undergoing things too, but like, I'm just going to guess if you're watching this, you're a really lucky person. And it can be so easy to forget that and get lost in stuff. I resonate with that. I feel like I did that for several years, and it kind of led to me having cancer a few years back. This is where my cancer port was. I went through something really bad and hard, and I gained a lot of resentment, and I let it like eat me away, and I wasn't being properly grateful for what I did have, and that those people who hurt me saw their way out of my life, which now I am so grateful for. So I need to wrap this up. This is almost 25 minutes. I did not expect it to be this long, but I'm really thankful that this came through, and I hope that it can be of benefit to someone, anyone. If not, it is just in the Akashic now, and for that I am forever grateful. But and I just saw how, when you talk to ChatGPT, and it's like, now when other people talk to ChatGPT, like whatever you were talking to it about, that other people will be able to access the information that you were talking about, because it's like the cloud. So it's, to me, the Akashic is like the ChatGPT, but of energy that everyone has ever accessed from Earth, ever, maybe from other dimensions too. And so to that extent, I'm just grateful to have talked about this at all. But yeah, I hope that you can let the King of Hearts remind you to speak with compassion for yourself and others. And that if you put at the forefront of your mind, hey, is every thought that I'm saying or thought that I'm thinking and word that I'm saying aligned with the kingdom of love that I wish to create in my life? Allow that to help you revolutionize the way that you communicate. And let this follow you over the next few weeks as Mercury moves through Scorpio and out of Scorpio and into Sagittarius. If you stop allowing yourself to wallow and just say there's like one certain thought pattern that you get really wrapped up in and you're like, this is the one that I want to change. I need to stop speaking to myself like this. When you stop, you will see other things open up for you in Sagittarius season. Like, it is imminent. And so the King of Hearts is blessing this process and saying like, hey, if this is based in love and self-love, that you want to stop talking to yourself like that, there's basically no end to how glorious the kingdoms are that you can create of love in your life. I had like a moment of feeling embarrassed, like, man, it took me 30 minutes to get this out and I don't know if I really made like a solid conclusion. But I want to not have shame for myself. This is one of my nasty little thought worms that is, first of all, thinks that the worth of what I'm sharing is validated by how many people watch it or how many people gain from it, rather than me going through the process of speaking it and thinking about it and putting it into the Akashic and putting it out there for anybody who might experience it. I need to get out of my own way, keep trucking and sharing regardless of the shame associated with maybe no one will care, maybe somebody might judge me that there wasn't like one big overall conclusion that I made. But another thought that was coming through right now is like, this is all so nebulous. Of course, there isn't one sentence that I can say that can sum up Jupiter exalted in Cancer, trining Mercury, who just retrograded into Scorpio and will move forward into Sag, while it happened on December 6th with this card, and this card, which are inner child, mission, and high self. Like there's 20 variables at play. How would I sum that up in one sentence? Maybe I could re-listen to this and think on it more. And maybe if I do more of these over time, I will become better at that. But I need to not judge myself for where I'm at. I need to be proud of myself for just sharing, and I am. And, that's an example of going through this stuff in real time, right? That's an example of watching yourself start experiencing this negative mental pattern and saying, hey, that's actually not serving me for the direction that I want to go. That's actually holding me back. That's weighing me down. That's rocks in my pockets. I do not want that. I am ready to move forward. I am ready to build my kingdoms of love, and I don't need these sketchy Mercury and Scorpio monkeys telling me that I'm not good enough, that I am not a good enough communicator, that I'm not smart enough, that I'm not logical enough, that I'm not organized enough. The trope of Mercury is Hermes and is Hermeticism, which is alchemy, and it kind of is drawing attention to our mind is magic. Our mind is our alchemical tool that turns sludge into gold, that turns Mercury and Scorpio into Mercury and Scorpio revolutionary communication. We have all of the ammo that we need to turn our negative self-talk into the fuel that will become the gold of our future positive self-talk, or maybe our current positive self-talk, if we just do it in the moment like I just did. So I'm going to end it here at almost 30 minutes. Actually, let me just pull one card. Wow, the Four of Diamonds. This is about building valuable foundations that will serve as longevitous, stable foundations over time. It's like if you build a house, then you can live in the house. If this is the kind of house that you want to build, then this is the kind of house you get to live in. Your kingdom of love will reign forever. Bye.